name is Walt. It's time to discover Saipan. I'm here at my Q&A on the beach spot here on Saipan, and as you can see, it's not as lush and as inviting as it used to be, but I haven't done one of these in a while, definitely not since a typhoon, so I thought I'd give you a little taste of outdoors here on Saipan. And there might be a new typhoon coming this way, so we may not be able to come out here again after July 4th. And later on in the end of the video, I'll take a little walk around and show you what things are like. But something that came up in my thoughts recently, I'm not sure why exactly, but I guess I was thinking about some of the things that I've learned since living here on Saipan. And a few months ago, I was having a conversation with a pilot friend of mine. I think we were talking about the Jeju Airlines crash, and something came up culturally that I think he may or may not have been aware of. I'm not sure exactly, but here's the thing. Living here in the Asia Pacific region, there are certain cultural differences that might be interesting for you to observe, and one of those is the respect for elders. And I'm going to show you how some of that ties into understanding airplane crashes, give you a little bit of insight that you might not have otherwise. So to give you a little context, I had a friend here on Saipan, an elder, Carolinian elder named Lino Olapai, and he and I became friends over the years, and a very generous guy, very culturally aware and adept. He's lived here on Saipan, but he was from the Caroline Islands. Anyway, during one of our discussions about the culture, the Pacific Island culture, it came up that we were talking about navigation, celestial navigation, and what things are like out on the open seas, and how the Carolinian culture is adept and holds a vast a bit of knowledge on navigating the open seas just by using the stars and positions of the stars and the movement of the ocean and even the movement of fish in the sea. And we got on a discussion about following the lead navigator. And I'm not sure how this came up, but I asked him, what would you do if out on the open seas, the elder navigator, the lead navigator says go left, but you know we're supposed to go right? Would you contradict him? And he said no. And I pushed a little further and I said yes, but what if you know for an absolute fact, and the rest of the younger navigators know by absolute fact, that if you go left, you're going to die, but the correct choice is to go right, starboard and port. So I said, so what do you do if you know you should go right, but the lead navigator, the elder, says go left? He says, we go left. And I said, yeah, but what if you know that there's certain death going left? And he says, and I quote, then we all died together. And that was his answer. And that's a cultural difference that is significant. The Pacific Island culture, the Asia Pacific culture, Southeast Asian culture in general has a tremendous amount of respect for elders. You don't do things to make the elders lose face. You don't contradict the elder. You don't argue. You don't use certain language with the elder that's reserved for when you speak with your peers. So something like that could figure into what happens in the cockpit of a plane being piloted by an elder pilot who believes that one thing should be done, but a younger pilot who might be correct in knowing that that is not the way things should be done. out of cultural deference, out of cultural respect, he would not contradict the elder pilot, and as a result, things can happen that may not be the best for everyone involved, but it's a cultural line that is simply not crossed. And it's something that obviously needs to be addressed when the training of pilots, that sort of thing. But here on Saipan, for example, if you observe Chamorro culture, you will see that there's a certain respect that's paid to elders. If someone is an elder family member, an elder in the community, there's a certain bow that's done, and the elder holds out his or her hand, and the younger person acknowledges him in a certain way. It's called an amen. And so you can imagine that even if a police officer were to approach someone who just ran a red light, and that person turns out to be his uncle or an elder to whom he needs to show respect, he's going to show that respect, because that cultural deference takes precedent over the whatever other police protocol or Western protocol. So these are things that affect how people interact. It affects how people follow or enforce the rules. So just something to keep in mind when you attempt to understand why things happen, how things happen, certain rules that are followed. I had one fellow once tell me that even though he was the head of, or in a position of authority in a particular government office, a particular department, that he was an outsider, Westerner. He was not able to establish or enforce the authority that his title gave him, and people would hear something from him and then immediately go check it with someone who's older in the community before his directions would be followed or implemented. And he thought initially that it might have been a bias that they had towards the Westerner or towards the foreigner. So I was able to explain to him that it might be something that has to do with the cultural position of that other individual who's been there longer, who's more respected in the community, being an elder than you are, regardless of your position. So it was just something interesting that I have come to understand about the culture, and may or may not be something that you ever run into in your experiences here, depending on who you deal with, depending on if you're in a work environment, but something to be aware of and to keep your eyes open for. And with that, I will see you in the next video, and let's take a quick look at what things look like here. So you can see a lot of the root structures of the trees are kind of shallow, so they weren't able to withstand the wind, so they've all toppled over. And the tree cover, all the leaves are blown away, they're still growing back. That's Mariana Island. So blues of the water, the Saipan blue is still there, beauty is still there, but we have a lot of cleaning up to do still, 60 days plus after the typhoon. Here on Micro Beach on Saipan. This is the first time I've visited the beach, or this particular beach, since way before the typhoon. So this is what things look like now, 60 days after the typhoon, after Typhoon Sinlaku that hit on between April 11th and April 14th. So June 14th, 60 days Then another 16, so 76 days roughly since the typhoon hit. No tree cover yet. A little bit of green coming back, but it'll be a good couple months until things are back to normal, and then there has to be some clearing done by the mayor's office or the National Park Service to clear all of this debris out. It's Wednesday, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. School is out, we're in the middle of summer, so there are some people enjoying themselves.
Subscribe.
You know what I'm saying.